I'd like to express my sincere gratitude towards Center for Business and Economic Research, UK, Abdul International University, Center for Innovative Leadership Navigation, UK, and Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Maritime University, and of course, Rear Admiral, Vice Chancellor, Mohammad Khalid Iqbal, and dear participant. My presentation is about to illegal migration and human security in last 5 years. Maritime security and maritime migration in Asia has become increasingly a touchy issue as refugees and migrant workers are navigating the region by the Bay of Bengal and enter an epic of crisis as a wave of migrants and refugees attempted to cross the sea and to reach Southeast Asia. And many Bangladeshi workers, they risk their lives on overcrowded fishing boats and traveling across the Bay of Bengal. And many people are being abducted and kidnapped, and then they are taken into a larger ships anchored in international water under Bangladeshi, outside the Bangladeshi maritime boundaries. Now, the international law, there is accepted international and universal and regional levels, that is a non-refoulement theory. That theory is said that no state shall expel or return a refugee in any manner whatsoever to the frontiers of territories, whether his life or freedom that would be threatened on account of his race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular group, of a social group, or political opinion. That thing is challenged in our country, like the Rohingya issues. The major challenges, the climate challenge, climate change is one of the issue, and the rising the sea level in Bangladesh, and that will submerge a significant proportion of the land. And climate change will not only cause the environmental disaster, but also will drive a massive social changes as millions of people migrates from devastating areas. And river erosion, you know, that is directly, indirectly affected the people, and they are migrating from one disaster-prone area to another disaster-prone areas, and their families and the peoples, their minds and body, they're moving one place to another place, and forced labor migration is happening in our country. And you know, the pursuit of globalization and the benefit, to get the benefit of the globalization, workers, both skilled worker and both unskilled workers, they are forced to look for a better life and employment. And they're moving from one state to another state by land or by sea. And this globalized economy that fosters demand for diverse types of exploitation and human smuggling and human trafficking is one of them. And that is practiced by the intermediaries aiding undocumented migrants in crossing our international borders in large groups for financial gain. And these organized crimes operate systematically by corporate agencies outside the purview of law. And the thing that is the civil war and repression, and their thing that in recent years, Rohingyas have faced increasingly persecution and brutally attacked by the military and Buddhist monk in Myanmar. And thousands of men, women, and children from Myanmar to Bangladesh, they escape out to sea as thousands have drowned, victimized by human traffickers, and face an uncertain fate. And they are facing a lot of challenges. Their boats, sometimes Rohingya boats on Naf River, were often gunned down by the Myanmar army. They have burned their houses, schools, markets, shops, mosques, and belonging to the Rohingyas people. And Bangladesh, with her long traditional hospitality, accepted Rohingya people, and that caused domestic and environmental concern over the human, the huge population human, and also the drug traffickers across the Myanmar-Bangladesh border. And this is a challenge for Bangladesh, and especially considering the Bangladesh, its national, its domestic limited resources, and that problem is happening in Bangladesh. And also IOMO. IOMO's report that describes that in Bangladeshi report that they say the job seekers from different districts from Bangladesh, they are collected first in the Teknaf border, and then of Cox's in district, and then they are taken into a cargo ship in deep sea by a small engine boats in the dark of night, and they are trafficked in Thailand or Myanmar, and this thing is happening in the worldwide. The world witnesses the tragic deaths of thousands of people from different countries drowning in the Mediterranean Sea, the Bay of Bengal, in the Indian Ocean, while they are trying to enter Europe, Thailand, or Malaysia. And now the protection measures, what we can do. And you know, the migrants people are most vulnerable people, and if the state that is very reluctant to take the appropriate policies or to protect the people, then they will suffer a lot. And you will be very happy to know that Bangladesh has two laws. In 2012, there is the anti-trafficking laws, and 2013, Bangladesh Parliament adopted another law that is migration law, immigration and migration laws. And we are saying that to take immediate and appropriate measures to eradicate forced labor in any manner, whatever it is, like modern slavery, human trafficking, and secure the prohibition and elimination of all the worst forms of child labor. And the state should strengthen the capacity of government, humanitarian activities, workers, and partners in these situations. They should come and they should have a collaboration with Bangladesh Navy and Bangladeshi border guard security members. Then it will be effective measures to protect the migrants people. And increasingly protection for victims and their families and vulnerable migrants. And I would like to focus on research that is the filling critical gaps in knowledge. Now I will tell you a story, saddest story of Alamin Mia. This Alamin Mia, 25 years old, from Borishal district, who survived the migrant boat in Tunisia coast. And Alamin was a private university student, and he said that he found it very difficult to get a job in Bangladesh or to do business in Bangladesh, so he decided to go to Italy and build a career. And Alamin Mia was in a Tunisia Red Crescent camp. He said that I had no idea that things that were be so different in Libya, that he is one of the survivors, 16 survivors, and he's with Bangladeshi board. Alamin said that a mafia group held him in Libya and dozens of other hostages in camp of Libya, and the camp was hell for them, and they spent there without food and water, and 66 people lived in a single room. They had only one toilet. He faces various forms of physical and mental tortures for ransom, and lastly he asked his family to give them 11 lakhs taka to the mafias, and then they put on him in an Italy-bound ship. In the mid-sea, the ship was drawn. They are taken in a small ship, and then the ship and the small boat was drawn. And he said, "My family and I have heavily debt, and what will I do? How can I return my homeland, and what will I do? And he is in Tunisia Red Crescent camp. So my last point is that this is a hidden crime, and this is a modern day slavery, and with added difficulty of locating affected peoples. And Bangladesh must work with locally, regional, and international actors, and also the multilateral bodies and aid organizations, also or the civil society, to protect these migrant peoples and to save them with experts, academicians, and also to develop lasting and ethical solution of this crisis. Because of migrants are very vulnerable, and we should protect them, and this situation is called out of sight situation. And migrants workers engage sometimes in work at sea or in private houses, or domestic workers as like confined areas and work sites, because their visa and passport are taken by the agents, and who have a high degree of control over these people, and and they can't move, and their situation is very worse. So we are asking to international level, we should take some security measures to protect these people, because these people are our people, and we should secure this world for, as like we are asking for humanity, and humanity is above all. Humanity is above the law. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.